Hey, what is up everybody? This is Eric, the one and only Bay Area collector, and today I'm doing a movie review of 2016's Ghostbusters, Answer the Call. Yeah, it's that Ghostbuster movie with all the chicks in it. Well, anyways, before I begin my review, I just wanted to share with you guys, first of all, I am a huge Ghostbuster fan. I've been a fan since Moby was a goldfish, since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I've been a fan of the franchise ever since I was very young. Big fan of the cartoon series, The Real Ghostbusters. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see most of the Extreme Ghostbusters cartoons. Huge fan of the original Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2 movie. Actually, those movies are amongst of my top 5 all-time favorite movies. Those are some of my, I would say, top 5, top 10 favorite movies of all time. And I believe that those two movies do not need any introduction. Not only that, when I was young, my very first video game was Sega Master System's Ghostbusters. After I bought the Sega Master, came with the Hang-On Safari Hunt. And then soon after Christmas, my birthday's in March. So my dad said, you'll get a video game for your birthday. What do you want? It was my very first video game ever. It was Ghostbusters. So that's how much of a fan I am. Not only that, my son and fellow YouTuber Logan from Logan's Toy Box Review, he's a second generation Ghostbuster fan. So we're huge fans here at home. Now, going back to the movie, the 2016 Ghostbusters movie, basically the movie is it's a reboot of the original Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2 movies. Except that it's now with a cast of all female characters, and it's very, it's not similar, but some of the things I feel like they kind of did a friendly mockery of the original Ghostbusters 1 and 2. There's some scenes where I could tell like they redid some of both, like they kind of retold, in a different way. I feel like it's kind of sort of like a different universe, like an alternate universe for Ghostbusters. A point saying before I get started, I just want to say I'm going to try my best to stay fair, being that I'm a huge fan of the franchise, and just kind of, give my opinions about the movie. First of all, the movie was created in 2016. It was made by Ivan Reitman, and I believe also Harold Ramis had a big part in it before, and Dan Aykroyd, and all of them. I'm pretty sure all of you guys know the whole history behind it, where they wanted to get the original Ghostbusters cast, but especially the one that did not want to do it was Bill Murray. And there were rumors that Bill Murray, when they sent him the script, he sent it back to them all shredded up, and other things like that. But anyways, just to give you a little recap of what the story's about. So basically, it is like a retelling of the original Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2, like a reboot. And you have Erin, which is the girl here. I don't know the real names as the actresses. So you got Erin, who's a university professor. She's trying to elevate herself in a position in the university. But then all of a sudden, right before I jump into that, it starts a scene kind of similar like to the library part in Ghostbusters 1, where there's a famous haunted mansion and they're doing a tour, and then the guy is doing the tour, and then all of a sudden something supernatural happens in the building, which causes the guy to be trapped in the house and trapped with the ghost in there, and then it boots off the beginning of the sequence, which I like that they put the music of the original Ghostbusters in the track after it began. So now we fast forward to her, like she's a university professor, and she's trying to elevate herself, and then all of a sudden one of the owners, or I don't know, one of the main curators of the mansion that's haunted, got a hold of her saying that, oh, you're a paranormal investigator. And she's like, what do you mean? Well, I read your book, and she was like, what book? And basically Abby, which is the chick next to her right there, she published a book and printed out a book that they had written way back in the days when they were young and they were into this paranormal stuff. She kind of got off of it, but Abby continued doing it. And so she got really upset because she didn't want people to know that she wrote this book, because, she's now saying that ghosts are not real. And so, fast forward a little bit, they're um, she goes and contacts Abby, and they haven't spoken in a long time because they had a falling out. And now Abby's together with Holtzman, which is the chick right here with the glasses. They're kind of like working on equipment and everything, and she tells her, Aaron tells Abby, what have you done? You did this book without my permission. And so all of a sudden she tells him about the curator that went in there about the hauntings in the mansion. And so they're like, oh really, there's a haunting. So they go in and investigate, and they discover that ghosts are real. So they get all excited, and finally they kind of get kicked out of the university, which is kind of like a scene in Ghostbusters 1 in the original. And then they start their own paranormal business. Now, the next thing that happens, I know some other things happen in the movie. I don't want to spoil it so much. But then Patty, they show a scene where Patty, she's kind of like she's a person in a booth in the subway station. So basically she hears something weird coming out of the subway tunnel. And then all of a sudden she goes to investigate, and a ghost pops out. So she goes ahead and contacts Abby and Aaron and Holtzman that she saw a ghost and everything. And at the same time, they're hiring this guy Kevin. So Kevin is actually the actor who played Thor in all the Marvel movies. Forgot his name, but they hire Kevin as their secretary. It's kind of like a Janine Melmet's replacement from the original, so they hire him as the secretary. So anyways, for some reason Patty joins them, after they investigate, and they get all into more cases of paranormal activity, until finally they discover Rowan is actually the one that, there's someone named Rowan that's he's kind of like a bellhop at a local hotel, and he's kind of like a mad at the world type of guy, kind of like a weirdo type guy. So he gets all upset, and he wants to take over the, like make sure that all the ghosts come out, like, come out of the parallel dimensions to, to take over the human world. And they soon discover that he's the one behind all these ghost activities. Now, that's pretty much the story summed up. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys what I kind of liked about the movie, which is not that many things, but I did like some things. First of all, I actually liked that it was a all-female cast, believe it or not. When I heard that there were gonna be an all-female cast, I was open to the idea, because during the cartoons you used to see Janine helping out the Ghostbusters in the real Ghostbuster cartoons, and as a kid I was like, man, they should make her a Ghostbuster, and she should be part of the team, even though she's the secretary, she kind of helps the guys when they're in a real bind. And to see that there's female characters, I was all for it. I was like, okay, cool, The other thing that was so awesome about this movie that I think was great were the special effects. And the fact that they did a lot more ghost busting than in the original Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2. They actually, one of the things that I felt a little bit disappointed about the original Ghostbusters movies were that they didn't do enough scenes where they're just action oriented, where they're busting more ghosts. I thought that if they would have added a little bit more of that, it would have been really cool. But at the same time, I love how it is, don't get me wrong, but it would have been cool to see more ghost busting. But in this case, in this particular movie, in this one, they actually did more action scenes, and the effects were really, really cool. I thought they were pretty cool. That was probably one of the best things in the movie. And the other thing that I kind of I liked and I didn't. This is where things kind of fall off a little bit. I'm getting to the best points and then going back to the less and less. So the thing that I kind of thought it was okay was the storyline. The storyline was really, really interesting and cool. To put Rowan as a villain and put him, that would have been great. But I kind of somehow felt that they kind of mashed two stories together. Like you have Rowan going on and doing his thing, and all of that, and taking story, and then they did they kind of mishmashed the story. It felt like the story wasn't really complete. You know, like they kind of just rushed into it. And don't get me wrong, the story was interesting, it was cool, but at the same time, it wasn't, you know, it needed a little bit more umph, you know, like a little bit more. Now, where it gets a little bit worse, now I'm getting to the worser points, which are more than the good points, were the characters themselves. Whoever wrote the script for the characters, the writers for the characters, I'm sorry, they tried to make this a funny movie. To me, it wasn't funny at all. It was kind of like some lame jokes. Believe it or not, Abby was annoying as hell. Patty was annoying as hell. Erin felt like she was like, they made her too kind of like too goody two shoes. Like they made her too soft. And Holtzman was actually the one that I thought was one of my favorites, which is the blonde chick with the glasses. She was kind of like a little bit of a weirdo type of character, but she made things funny and interesting and fresh, and she was smart too. She made the equipment and all that. And I think her character was probably the best, but overall, they were just not funny. They were not lacking. You know, you see Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2, the characters, everybody had their own, you know, their own style, and everybody was unique and they were funny, but these were not funny. They were like, I felt like they were forgettable. Especially Kevin. Like, oh my god, like Kevin was, I think what really made this movie one of the worst things was Kevin. To make him into a dimwit secretary was a real mockery to Janine Melmitz, because Janine was not a dimwit. Janine was smart. Janine was sharp and everything, and they did the complete opposite with Kevin. It was just like, he was so annoying. I'm sorry, I wish they would have written his character off. It was just like, that made the movie worse. There was a scene where they do like a disco dance. Whatever you guys do not watch the extended version of this movie, because you guys will feel like you're being tortured. And they put this scene, and I'm glad it was removed from the original, is because when I first watched it, I didn't know that was I was watching the extended version. But they put this scene where they're doing that disco dance with all the soldiers and all the city guards and everything. It was just ridiculous, and it was just dumb. So I'm glad it was taken off the original movie, but unfortunately I got to see the whole part. That was probably one of the most annoying things. And the other thing I found annoying was trying to get the original characters in cameos. There was no need for that. It was just probably a way to please the original fans, and I thought that was just, it was just not needed. It was just dumb. I didn't like that. Overall, the movie just felt like don't get me wrong, it was an okay movie. I won't say it's the best. You know, I watched it a couple of times, but not because I wanted to, but because my son likes it and my girlfriend likes it. But to me, it's just one of those movies that I can do without. Believe it or not, overall, if they would have done a little bit more on the story, it would have been pretty cool. Having those extra things, just they tried too hard on the jokes, because the jokes were not funny. That made the movie lame. It's a good experience. I love the ghost busting stuff, like the actual effects. That was excellent. But overall, to me, the movie, it's a forgettable movie. As a Ghostbuster fan, and you know, trying to put myself aside from being a Ghostbuster fan, I think the movie was just lame. It wasn't cool. It was okay it's worth a watch, but I'll tell you something, you guys, before you guys watch this one movie, please do yourself a favor and do this. Please take my word of advice deeply. Watch Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2, and also what I feel like it's the definitive third part or in-between story before we get Ghostbusters Afterlife, because I saw the trailers for that one and I'm excited for that movie, and I hope they don't mess it up. It's this game, the Ghostbusters, the video game. Now I have the Nintendo Switch version of it. I just got it. I haven't shown it off yet because I haven't done my monthly haul. But I did a PlayStation 3 review of that game. Do your guys a favor and just, I'm going to put the description down below to check that out. This is like the definitive part 3, because this has the original characters. It has a brand new fresh storyline that kind of piggybacks from the first 2 stories. And I feel like this is kind of similar also to that Terminator Salvation game I played on the Xbox 360. I did a review of that one as well. And it kind of plays like an in-between story. And it's just way much better than the movie. So overall, the movie was okay. But I honestly think that you know, we could have done without it. It was just something to please the fans. I know that there was so much drama behind the story of this movie. Unfortunately, I spent $26 on this crap, you know, because I bought the 4K Ultra version of it. I was so excited when I first got it, and when I saw it, and because you saw the extended, please don't see the extended version. Saw the extended version, I thought I was in agony. When I saw the original cut of the movie, I thought it was like, okay. Then after the third time, I'm like, I feel more tolerant of the movie, but I can do without it. So anyways, oh, what's that? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, it's a class 5 full roaming vapor. No, it's just the movie. It's trash. So anyways, do yourself a favor. True Fancy. I even got a PK meter. I have the Ghostbusters backpack. Do yourself a favor. Watch the first 2 movies. Also play the video game if you can before you watch that one, so you guys can really see what it is. Overall, it's not a really bad movie. It's okay. I'm being too nice. It's a bad movie, but it's still worth a watch because of the effects. And I can't wait for Ghostbusters Afterlife, because if they're using effects like that in Ghostbusters Afterlife and do more of that, Afterlife is going to be a really good movie. So anyways, this has been Eric the Bear Collector. By the time this airs out, it's going to be Christmas Eve. You guys have a great Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Boxing Day. Whatever holiday you guys celebrate. Have a happy and safe one. And I will see you guys later. Peace out.